Shander Show and on Twitter at Shander Show. But the PGA is moving forward despite a couple of positive tests. And again, another case study for how sports maneuvers the muddy waters, cloudy waters that appear in front of them, that there is no precedent whatsoever in how to deal with this. But we've got golf. We've got bettable golf, which is the best part about it. And Big Bryson looks to be handling things already out there on the course. And we mentioned this way back when everything came returned, if you will, with the PGA, to where the question was, if he continues to play well for 2, 3, maybe 4 tournaments, and I think it was the over-under of 4 tournaments before people start realizing what's going on, before people start raising an eyebrow or two, thinking, that whole 40 pounds in a year, Latimer, I think he put on 45 pounds in a summer. James Cahn's trying to explain it to his assistant coaches about, it's not hard to put on 45 pounds in off season if you hit the weights. Well, Bryson, of course, we know hit Ensure shakes and the gym and anything else to add all of that bulk on his body, and it looks to be doing him a positive at the very least. We also have some news in the NFL, and much like we've seen some, and it hasn't been many examples, but every now and again you find a positive result due to the pandemic, like pollution going down significantly in this country and other parts of the world because we've been at home for so long. Well, I think I might have found another small positive, and this is far from COVID's good. COVID is horrible. It's horrific. It's a pandemic that needs to be taken seriously. But every now and again, as the after effect, we look back and think, wow, the air's much cleaner because we were all at home. We actually have a sport example of that as well, all coming up next.
Hi, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. We can help guide you to those right decisions now when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows. So when you call 8338-ROCKET or visit us at rocketmortgage.com to start your refinance, you'll be well on your way to saving money every month. The rate today on our 30-year fixed rate mortgage is 3.375%, APR 3.59%. Right now could be a great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you the boost that you're looking for. In addition, we may be able to help you refinance with little or no out-of-pocket costs. At Rocket Mortgage, we're committed to every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.875% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Your employees and customers have new expectations when it comes to cleanliness. Cintas has the products and services you need to feel prepared. A trained Cintas technician can apply disinfectant and sanitizer spray to common surfaces. And we'll keep you well stocked with gloves, face masks, hand sanitizer, and disinfectant wipes, professional cleaning supplies, and PPE. Just a few ways Cintas can help you keep your business safe. Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
At CDW, we get that working remotely can make people feel disconnected.
I went from catching up with coworkers around the water cooler to hanging out around my cat's water bowl.
Fortunately, CDW can help your employees stay connected by implementing a secure by design Google Chrome Enterprise solution that protects every Chromebook.
Gotta run. The boss is calling.
Mr. Whiskers sounds very demanding. IT orchestration by CDW. People who get it. Find out more at cdw.com/Google.
Over 2.5 million airline passengers fly every day in the United States. Those passengers depend on reliable airplanes, and those planes need certified aircraft technicians. That's where you come in. We are the Aviation Institute of Maintenance, and we train tomorrow's technicians. We train our students hands-on with real aircraft, develop their skills, and prepare them for real jobs in the industry. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reports the average aircraft technician in the United States makes over $62,000 a year.
The job opportunity is there. The money is there.
If you want to work with your hands, it's a perfect place for you.
Call 800-876-0097.
I'm very impressed with the AIM curriculum. The school's keeping pace with the demands of the industry.
the potential for growth is astounding.
At the Aviation Institute of Maintenance, we train tomorrow's technicians.
800-876-0097. 800-876-0097.
Scratching beneath the surface. It's the second level, presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
So we've got golf right now, and Phil Mickelson right there at the top, tied for second, 5 under through 14 holes. I was staring at that, looking at it ahead of time on DraftKings, trying to think if it was worth, because it's really just a small wager you would place on somebody randomly leading after one. And I went with somebody else. I'll explain who. But besides that, it's nice to see Phil up there at the top. It is nice, honestly, when you look at where we are heading into an early day, Thursday, first of four, knowing that there were threats of other golfers pulling and the concern we have about COVID being more prevalent around the tour and what would happen with the tour moving forward. Nice to see Phil up there. Rory as well, make no mistake. Rory also sharing the same score in the same group through 14 at 5 under. Hughes 6 under with the lead, and you have a couple of guys right now just a stroke off. And again, this thing will be going on live at least through when we're on the air. So as things change and update, we'll give you that. No American to win the tournament. I tried to find that again. I think they were pretty much done with that one. Rahm not having a bad day by any means. 2 off the lead through 15. As is Bryson, 4 under as well. A bunch of guys. This thing right there, Mackenzie Hughes has not pulled away from anybody despite being through 10 and just starting the back. Rory and Phil, the two big names at the top. And we'll wait and see if anybody, at least a big name expected to be up there, has completely stunk it up. I don't know if you had J.J. Spawn as a predictive winner, but boy, that guy 8 over through 17. Think about this. 8 over through 17. And Travelers, unlike the other two courses that we've seen these guys play in, you can really stretch it and bomb the ball, why Bryson would be expected to play even better than he has been in the previous two, and it's been pretty good golf to watch from Bryson. So here comes J.J. Spawn. He's finished. He's 8 over on the day. And yes, it looks horrible when you look at the score comparatively. But there are, how many people do you think on the planet could walk in, and I'm not even saying as far as all of the pressures of the PGA Tour. I'm just saying take the bare minimum and compare the two. A lot of times, well, scratch golfers, what would they do? The big bright lights, the cameras, everybody watching you, knowing you're on big TV. Forget that. Just what percentage do you think of Americans on this planet, or this country technically, who play golf could walk in, no cameras, no bright lights, no Golf Network broadcasting this, the Golf Channel, nothing. Just you and 3 of your buddies, family, whoever you want. It's your foursome you can choose. It's not some hypothetical. You're not playing golf with Gandhi or something like that. I mean, just 3 people that you know that would make it even more comfortable. I'm not great as it is. And if I'm playing with strangers or people I kind of don't know, then it might take me a little bit. Or maybe people think that they can't be themselves around me, because you go through it once or twice, you feel a little better. My fiance, her family, I can be as bad as humanly possible and know that it's okay. There's less judgment coming that way. 8 over, 78. Now, he broke 80. We're talking about walking into Travelers during the week, a Monday, a Tuesday. If you can get in, a lot of courses still open Monday because they were closed for so long. So you walk into this course here in Connecticut, the Travelers Championship in Cromwell, which, God, there's nothing. Once you pass Norwalk in southern Connecticut, there is nothing. And Cromwell is a great example of there being nothing. So at that point, you walk in, let's say Thursday, no tournament, every PGA doesn't come into town here. How many golfers do you think, even if we flew people in from Seattle down to Houston and anywhere in between, could just walk on the course and break 80? Again, from the tips, we're talking about everything from the PGA as far as the course itself. So you're hitting from the same tees and everything along those lines. 10% maybe? I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing it would be a low number. And yet still, the difference between JJ shooting 8 over and par is such a slight difference in shots. And I don't think it even applies to every golfer out there. No big name right now that is in danger of major implosion. Reed, Munoz, both guys who are top 10 coming in with the world, are hovering even par, so they're not out of it by any means. And we'll see if Mackenzie can even hold on with that 10 under. NFL has canceled the canceled the Hall of Fame game and postponed the Hall of Fame inductions. So we have to wait another year to see these guys inducted, which is fine. People can wait for weddings and all other types of parties, and they can wait there. I will say that you actually have in front of you something that might actually be a good thing. The NFL, Adam Schefter, the same guy who broke that the Hall of Fame game was canceled, put out a tweet the day before with a conversation with somebody in the NFL, big up top in the NFL, reiterating to the conversation to us that nothing's going to happen. No changes in the schedule. There's no planned delay. There's no planned cutting and pasting the first 3 or 4 games of the regular season to the back end. It's been a topic of conversation forever since the NFL has jammed 4 games into the preseason. One thing that you can take away is the positive right now that I don't think is coming back, meaning cancel the first week of the preseason. Cancel the first 2 weeks of the preseason. There's nothing bad that will come from this. There isn't anything negative at all that will come from you delaying the start of the preseason. Like we had an earlier report, I think it actually came from a memo down from the NFL maybe 2.5 weeks ago, basically saying that the plan, backup or contingency plan, would be that you're able to continue to work and practice with your team. You're able to be in the building. You're able to run through the week like you normally would in the preseason, except you're not playing a game. And the first domino to fall we saw was the Hall of Fame game, and great, rightfully so. This game is way too early. You don't see any real football from the ones, not enough at least. And the fact that it starts so early in the preseason, you get less of a chance that any one-on-ones, and I mean ones like starters, taking on other starters, is going to actually get you good football. So we'll get to Malcolm Jenkins' comments in about 6 minutes. But as far as the big picture with the NFL, this is a great thing. This really is. It's like on a bigger scale and a more important scale, because I don't want somebody thinking, well, you compared the two. No, I'm not. I'm just using this as an analogy more so. They're not on the equal level, but like we saw in our society, not just here, China and other major violators around the world, pollution went down significantly. Human-caused, human-initiated pollution. Air quality went up. You were looking and seeing at areas that you couldn't for the last 4 or 5 years, 10 years in parts of this country. L.A., above it, you were able to see a mountain range that I think people forgot existed. So when you actually look at the NFL canceling this game, yes, the reason is because of the pandemic. We saw the reason why Major League Baseball would implement the universal DH is because of the pandemic and trying to get around that, knowing that there would be another body out there for the players to have that you can pay. So moving forward, of course, not just for this year. You're going to find examples in sports where, due to COVID, people are changing the nature of the schedule or how the game is played, be it adding somebody like the DH in the NL or removing unnecessary preseason games. I don't know how you come back to this once it's going to go off without a hitch. Now, at some point, you would like bodies back in one universal setting to have them come up on stage and give Roger Goodell a hug as it's announced that they're the new quarterback for the LA Chargers. You'd like to see that, but we also saw a virtual draft go off insanely well to the point in which now so many people want, including myself, mind you, want to see more of that. Want to see more cameras, mics in draftees' houses, less of the mother survived a drive-by shooting in 1999, and more of the true stories that make everybody on that night stand out unique with this special accomplishment. The NFL canceling the Hall of Fame game should be the first domino to fall. And if it's more just looking at COVID as the excuse, then great. Great. I know that cases are going up. Very rarely do you see the data that should be attached to it. Hospitalizations and discharges and deaths. So while cases have gone up across the country, we need to start looking at 7-day. We need to start looking at discharges. We need to start looking at deaths in order to compare it to what happened initially when this thing first hit this country. And it doesn't matter if it's Graham McDowell on the PGA Tour, if it's Dr. Fauci, or anybody else that you've heard from sport or medicine. The expectation of cases going up was a natural progression. Now, the extent of them, how long it stays like this, if hospitals become to the point in which they're overwhelmed, and I know some areas are reporting that. We had that last time around, and you saw how much mitigation was applied, even if it meant staying at home in areas and now coming out. But that, as its own right, is definitely something that the NFL and other sports leagues are looking at in the backdrop. But this is way too early. And just listen to, and we don't have it from an audio standpoint, but my goodness, I mean, 6 days ago, and this isn't faulting, and I'm not trying to take away anything as far as you shouldn't be listening to him, but just understand how fast things are changing. 6 days ago, Dr. Fauci told CNN that the only way the NFL will proceed is in a bubble, in some sort of bubble capacity, which we know is ridiculous to expect that to happen in the NFL, but it would have to be some sort of NFL island, like Fight Island with the UFC. They could go to New Zealand for 6 months and play the season, something like that. And yesterday, heading into this morning, the conversation shifted to where, well, it's too early to tell. It's too early to determine what the NFL can do. A lot of that's going to be based on human behavior and something that's tough to predict, player behavior, once they actually get into the setting of a preseason, for example. Basically saying it's going to be on the NFL and the players to handle it. Now, is he saying something 180? No. But it's a reflection of how fast things change. So if you're looking at a tracker, for example, from the Times or the Post or anywhere around the country, you can look at since last week to now and find the Southeast is far from the only place that is jumping. Now, it's what you're going to see. Texas, Florida, really Georgia as another one. But if you look at this map, the mid-Atlantic on the East Coast, really from Iowa, Minnesota, those two states specifically getting rocked. Chicago, and you can imagine, big city. Even Ohio is seeing areas like that. Virginia, for example, which is not the Southeast, that's still mid-Atlantic. And Maryland. So depending on where you are, even New York and Boston, simply because of the size of their states, are seeing pockets. But it's not covered in one headline because it's difficult to cover all of that in one headline. You're seeing change from the top, the medical people, the medical professionals. Every 4 to 5 days, something new is happening, and that will change the future predictions. The NFL right now has a chance to cancel the first 2 weeks of the preseason under the guise of COVID, which is fine, and keep that moving forward. We don't need to bring that back. 800-224-2004, at Shander Show on Twitter, twitch.tv/Shander Show. It's the second level.
Into the night.
Now imagine how pissed off Bryce Harper must have been while he's playing Fortnite with the bros. And he gets dropped in. All of a sudden, his computer beeps, and you have a new message.
Right. Incoming email.
Incoming email from the commissioner. And then he says, bros, I got to stop the Fortnite, man. I'm kicking ass here. I got to put down my joysticks. Brah. By the way, that's Snell Bra, man. That dude, that's my boy right there. And he's got to read a 67-page report, Harry.
There's no way Snell Bra made it to page 3. Okay? Let's be real.
Snell Bra probably opened the first page and said, screw this.
He's not getting paid $7 million to read this.
Hell no. 67 pages. You got to pay me double what I was supposed to get.
And then I'm getting taxed?
It's just not worth it, man. It's just not worth it.
I mean, I'm only getting paid to read 20 pages of it.
Into the Night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays. Weeknights at 10 Eastern. Into the Night.
Now, what's the time difference in New Zealand and Australia down under?
I have no idea.
18 hours or something crazy like that. Let's see.
We can bet on something before it happens. We'll know.
That's typically what you do, is betting on something before it happens.
That's usually how it works.
About the other way.
If you can figure out how to bet on something that's already happened, like it didn't happen, tell me how to do that.
Into the Night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays. Weeknights at 10 Eastern.
Wake up call. So back to baseball.
Doesn't it feel like Groundhog Day?
It does. Every day, same thing. Every day there's a little bit of news.
Yeah.
So I bring you a little bit of news. But I feel like I'm on a streak that I don't want to break. I got to bring something to the table about the Major League Baseball negotiations every day. Otherwise, I'll feel like I lost it. The day I don't do it
is the day that we're talking about first pitch.
Yeah, exactly, when they're finally coming back. So Rob Manfred said yesterday there will be 100%. He guarantees there's 100% chance there'll be baseball.
Who's saving?
So how can he be so sure that he's going to do this? To refresh the course, it's so funny. I feel like I've repeated this 1,000 times.
We should just play yesterday and the day before segment.
Take a break. We need a break. You're right. It's like Groundhog's Day, except I'm not getting better at a particular skill. I haven't learned to ice sculpture with a chainsaw yet.
Wake Up Call with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings.
Wake up call.
Please, God, if it does come to that, can we have the Walking Dead zombies, not the World War Z?
Yeah, I don't need the fast-moving
superhuman.
Ooh,
I'm not outrunning a World War Z zombie.
I'm the guy you bring because secretly you know I can't keep up with the rest of the group. Hey, I'm going to take Bob and Jim and Tony. You come with us too. And everybody knows why you're bringing me. So when push comes to shove, I'm the meal.
Wake Up Call with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings. You're listening to The Second Level, presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, with way more than the scores, here's Eitan Shander.
Update you on the PGA coming up. Malcolm Jenkins had some words about not playing. Read you that as well. Again, you can get us on Twitter at Shander Show. Twitch.tv/Shander Show as well. And if anybody jumped in on the Beat Shander for the overlay, I'll update you on a couple of these picks. Not looking great, but it's early. You know, that's the big thing, is it's very early. So there's a story that I know I don't have the money for, but I wonder if this is going to gain any steam, especially now, because I'm sure with everything that's happened in 2020, the idea of taking a balloon ride out of this place, just getting off this planet for even a day. Now, I know that's very difficult, right? Because of how time-space continuum works. But the ability to take, I think anybody right now would want to take a vacation. I don't know where you can go that would, A, allow you, and then B, you'd feel safe from COVID. Even New Zealand had to stop allowing people in after boasting that they purged the virus from the island. There are places that will tell you it's COVID-free, but you still have to take that risk. Space, I think, is probably the final frontier for not only exploration, but mainly now a COVID-free environment. And you're also free of all the humanity and nonsense that just aids how bad 2020 really is. This is us. I mean, we did this. We're at fault here, 2020. So there's a Florida company, of course it's from Florida, that plans on taking the balloon ride industry from local areas in Cape Canaveral to outer space. Space Perspective has announced it will take passengers on balloon rides to the edge of outer space. Instead of a traditional basket, I don't think that's going to survive liftoff. You know, that old school basket? I mean, that's what people were doing. They were taking balloon rides with wicker baskets. That's not going to work. So they've used now 8 passengers will load into the company's Spaceship Neptune pressurized capsule for a 2-hour journey to an altitude of 100,000 feet. That's above 99% of Earth's atmosphere. You're far away enough to be away from all of this nonsense. This is like the get away from 2020 for 2 hours. That's how it should be built. Leave the planet for 2 hours. Just take a break. Imagine. Now, you're going to have to go through the pressures and stress of a liftoff here. And if you're afraid of heights, this probably isn't for you. But this is an amazing vacation, even for just 2 hours. So the balloon is going to cruise at that height, 100,000 feet, for another 2 hours before another 2-hour trip back to Earth. So it looks like it's 6 hours total, right? You go up for 2 hours, you hang for 2 hours, you come down for 2 hours. It will splash down into the ocean, according to Space Perspective. So the unmanned, because you have to do this first, that's why Tesla and Musk sent that car into space with a dummy on it just to see. An unmanned test flight is scheduled to launch in 2021. We don't know how soon you can jump on this, but let me just throw this out here as a hypothetical. Bo 316 on Twitch. Gamma radiation, bunch of hulks coming down. Yeah, I don't know what you'll find up there. I'm afraid to find anything up there because it's not going to be normal. I can tell you that. You're not going to see an average bird flying up there. You don't see anything when you're on a flight. And what's that, half? 40,000 feet up above the ground or ocean, wherever you're flying? I guess the first question to think of this, how much do you think this costs? Like, what do you think on the surface? 2 tickets, because you probably have to buy them in a pair. Ron, what do you think 2 tickets cost to go from Cape Canaveral up to the edge of outer space, 100,000 feet above us, hang up there for 2 more hours, and then take the 2-hour plunge into the ocean?
Well, first, Sean, Ron just stepped out for a second.
Even better. Now, even better, because you're not subjected normally to my nonsense every single day. So you can give me an honest answer. What do you think this, because this is not catered to you and I, right? We're not in the tax bracket, Sean, where we could go and comfortably afford this. So what do you think 2 tickets to outer space on a balloon ride, edge technically of outer space on a balloon ride cost?
I'm going to go $100,000.
No way. Now, why did you go so low? $100,000, that might get you courtside tickets to the NBA Finals.
I think it's because I have so little money that I'm like $100,000. That's great.
Fair enough. You speak for a lot of people listening and working in this industry, my friend.
I'm the common man.
This is cool. Ron doesn't need to come back by any means. You and I could just hang.
Awesome.
Second level.
Hi, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important.
Right when Ron stepped out, I knew that you'd call.
Oh, yeah, it's hilarious.
Mortgage rates are near historic
That's fine,
lows.
man. That was a
So
good
when you
job
call
stepping in. Thank you.
8338-ROCKET.
That was great.
Thus, at rocketmortgage.com, to start your refinance, you'll be well on your way to saving money every month. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.375%, APR 3.59%. Right now could be a great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you the boost that you're looking for. In addition, we may be able to help you refinance with little or no out-of-pocket costs. At Rocket Mortgage, we're committed to every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.875% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
I've always wanted to learn another language, so I decided to give Babbel a try, and I really like the teaching method of the app. I started with the beginner lesson on Babbel, and soon you're putting words into a conversation. Each lesson takes about 10 to 15 minutes, and they're all really different, which keeps things interesting. I can't wait to use my Spanish skills in real life. Dos cervezas, por favor.
Now try Babbel free. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's BABBEL.com.
We're all in uncharted territory, looking for ways to support our communities. At Dell Technologies, we're making sure small businesses have the right tech solutions. Dell Technologies advisors are here for you, from helping small businesses stay connected and productive while working remotely with Windows 10 and Microsoft Teams, to rapidly deploying remote work solutions that limit upfront costs with Dell Financial Services. We're standing by you every step of the way. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
It takes conviction to see beyond the turmoil in today's markets. That's PGIM, the investment management business of Prudential. With a legacy of risk management discipline and investment experience through 30 market cycles, PGIM is prepared for today's challenges. PGIM brings long-term perspective and deep expertise across public and private markets globally. Outlast today's uncertainty with PGIM. Find out more at pgim.com. That's pgim.com.
At Fidelity, we understand priorities can change. So when you partner with a dedicated advisor from Fidelity Wealth Management, they will help you develop a personalized wealth strategy, one that can be flexible enough to evolve as your needs change. Plus, they can offer investing strategies designed to reduce the impact of taxes, all while making sure you understand what you're paying and why. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC.
Dealing with the root of the issues. It's the second level, presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
So let's look at the board here as things move and change rapidly. Not as fast as they're moving and changing with COVID, but still here comes Michael Thompson. Now, where was this last weekend? We had him and Matty Fitz as top 10 finishes on Sunday, thanks to an in-tournament bet that we placed live here on the air Saturday, thinking, well, all right, we can take advantage of both of those guys. I did put a very, very, very small bet that would pay out a lot if, in fact, it came to fruition on Matt Fitzpatrick being the leader after round one. And it does not look like he's teed off as of yet, unless I missed that. So I have a little longer. I think he's actually towards the end of the guys teeing off. Yep, he tees off at 1:50 Eastern time. So I'm going to be glued as much as I can to Matty Fitz, as the kids on tour, as the young golfers on tour call him. Look up to him. We'll see if, in fact, anything else we gave out, top 20s, will play out. But today really is just about looking at some big names in Rory and Phil. Rory more so because you'd like to think that it's sustainable. One shot off the lead, and that's owned by Mackenzie Hughes, who is 7 under through 12. So Hughes setting the tone early here, and a difficult day to match for anybody out there. Michael Thompson, we gave you that one shot off the lead, as is Keith Mitchell and Rory. So this would be that day that we kind of expected to see from Rory the previous 2 tournaments that we did not. Now, I don't think that you could look at McIlroy's performance last week and say it was a bad one. It just wasn't as expected to be battling for the lead. One off or just right there hovering with the lead. But you get McIlroy on a roll on this tournament or this course. And again, the biggest difference that we've seen from the previous 2 courses to this one is it's longer and you can stretch it out. DeChambeau right now is 1 off of Rory, so 5 under alongside Phil and a couple of other guys, including Sergio Garcia. And for Bryson, the story continues to be, first for him, what he's been able to accomplish with the size, and that clearly not impacting his game. He's arguably, right now, I should say, he's arguably through 2 tournaments and half of a day. And for him, it's really 1 day because he's through 16. So unless he blows up on 17 and 18, he probably birdie, I would think, one of the 2, if not just par out. So you've now had 2 tournaments in 1 day in which you really can't point to anything in his game that suffered as a result of him gaining this weight. And I don't know how all of a sudden that would change to where if you're watching, not even from a distance. I mean, let's say that today, for example, you're on tour. I'm going to randomly pick somebody out here. Not even a shrimp. I'm just going to randomly pick somebody. Taylor Gooch right now just finished. He's 1 under for the day. Shot a 69. It's not bad. It's not enough, but it's not terrible. You're on the right side of par after today, Taylor. Now, if you're Gooch and you're walking off the course and you see at the time Bryson, who has added 40 pounds to his frame, he's crushing the ball off the tee. Iron play, every single shot has stretched, and it's not hurt his accuracy because we go back to the previous 2 tournaments and Bryson was playing his tail off. Short, accurate shots, approach shots, even his putting, nothing that needed touch was lost. It's not like, I don't know if you've ever done this. Maybe basketball is probably the easiest sport. If you played basketball growing up as a kid, and then you take a little time off because you're focusing on other stuff. I had a friend of mine who, at the time in college, got a couple of looks at a semi-pro team to play for football, right? It wasn't going to be anything professional, anything like that, but, Gettysburg, if you're going to get paid a little money to play football, then go ahead and do it. He was a good basketball player. Don't get me wrong. Keith, a good basketball player. But at the same time, stopped everything because he was training, put on about 30 pounds over the span of about a year or so. I don't think he played basketball once. And then watching him play ball after the whole semi-pro thing was kind of shot down and it wasn't worth it. It hurt his ankle. Didn't want to push through it. So rehabbed a little bit, came back, played basketball. It was like watching him shoot with a tennis ball. He just had no control over it. Everything was hard off of the glass, missing shots, airballing, but not short, like launching this thing because he didn't know his own strength at that time in comparison to playing basketball. So here comes Bryson, and it's not having any negative effect. There isn't anything that he's done so far. Sung Jae Im, by the way, -2 through 13. Disappointing, to say the least, because I thought as consistent as he looked and as he plays overall, but as he looked week 1, that he would bounce back from a missed cut last week. And I would expect a little bit more for a top 5 guy world ranking. But that hasn't been the impact at all with Bryson's game. It's been the opposite. He's been able to manage any strength gain, especially the weight gain. So let's go back to our buddy Taylor Gooch here. You're telling me that right now, after 1 under for the day, trying to put something together that would resemble a push for a top 10 finish, you're not thinking in your head, this guy again? All right, I get the first time, the second time. Now it's day 1. And even as a golfer, look at it from a golf standpoint. Bryson is playing amazing golf right now. He's in this zone where he's playing really good, consistent golf. So even if you just wanted to remove the element of the weight gain and the shakes and the strength and the muscle, consistently that's difficult to go week to week to week now and put up a strong performance in the first day of a tournament after you played really well for 2 straight. And then you add that X factor, which is, oh, okay, that guy put on a lot of weight. Now, we don't have to wait now for Ryan Ballengee next Wednesday, or I'm sure we'll talk with somebody regarding the tour tomorrow. I think I don't even need to ask this anymore. It's hard for me to think otherwise. That people on tour, and it's not for everybody, gaining 40 pounds on your frame is not for everybody. You know, I wouldn't say if you already have a little bag to your belly, then you probably shouldn't put on 40 more pounds. If that's your catalyst to get into the gym and work that bag into something else, and then you want to put the weight on, okay, but at least have a plan. You can't just sit here and pound Ensure shakes and walk a couple of holes and expect it to just magically look like Bryson. Brandt Snedeker, he's a young guy, right? He's also a pretty big guy as far as height. How tall is Brandt Snedeker? Let's see, 6'1". 39 years old. He's a young man when it comes to this game. You're telling me that Snedeker, who does not have a lot to his frame, I mean, he's got some muscle to him, but he's pretty much what you would think of an average-sized 39-year-old 6'1" man. Not jacked by any means, not fat, of course, just there. He's got a little definition to him. He's actually one of the perfect candidates to this. I need to see what Taylor Gooch's frame would be. Taylor Gooch wedding is the first thing that pops up. Gooch, just like Snedeker, Gooch doesn't have much more to him. He's 6 foot. He's 28. He's 11 years younger. So his body would actually respond better to that 40 pounds of frame work than even Bryson. Because if you look at how old Bryson is, well, I mean, as I should say Bryson, I meant the earlier guy in Snedeker. But Gooch and Bryson are right there in that similar age group. And if I'm anybody, even Snedeker, I'm sorry, but we've reached a point in this conversation where it's hard for me to think that other golfers forget noticing, but aren't devising a plan with their coach. You're telling me that these guys don't have nutritionists? And I mean, some look like they don't, but some look like they do. Actually, a lot of these guys look like they've taken their own health outside of what's happening with COVID hands to try and become in better shape. You saw Tiger set that thing in motion years ago, just getting jacked and lifting and other people falling in line. It's not just Koepka who's, lifting and putting some sort of effort into their bodies. I would think that this is going to take off. Not so much as the balloon ride, but this is definitely going. It's hard for me to think already that 10 golfers on tour who are playing right now, 10 golfers who are active out there, they may finish the round, that's fine. But I'd say at least 10 have reached out to people in their crew and their camp, nutritionist, coach, whoever, and have said, we need to start looking into this. We need to start looking into how I can add some weight, some muscle on my body and not mess with my game. And Bryson did this over a year, so he was still playing while he was adding the weight. You don't need to take 3 or 4 weeks off in this case. All right, are we back now, Ron? Are you back with us? If Sean is still here, that's okay.
What? Stop bothering me.
Well, let's look at, I'm curious to see where you stand on this.
On my 2 feet.
Not necessarily. You're going to be in a wicker basket going up on a balloon ride.
Am I going to be a wicker man? I'm not going to be in a wicker basket going up in a balloon.
No?
No. Are you talking about that space balloon?
Was that in your fake news story?
No.
Okay, good. Because you weren't here, and Sean filled in perfectly to the point in which I didn't even notice you were gone.
Well, that's comforting.
Well, shows you how great of a job you've been doing working with Sean, that he can step in seamlessly, not only run the board, but fill in for you vocally. Shame on me for going to you.
Was he mimicking my voice?
No,
my canter, if you will.
You have a very difficult voice to mimic.
Damn straight.
Yeah.
So what about this space balloon? Are we going up? We going on a trip?
Yes. But I my question and Sean answered. So let's see. I said 5 times. I'll say it now on the record. 5 times what Sean's answer is. How much money do you think a ticket, assuming that you'd have to buy a pair, how much is one ticket to take a balloon ride from Cape Canaveral 2 hours up, 100,000 feet above the planet, and then hang for 2 hours and then come down for 2 hours? How much is that ticket?
Wasn't it like 150,000?
No, I didn't see the price is not on there.
I think I thought it was like 150 grand.
Well, that's only 50 more than what Sean said. I thought this would be at least $500,000. There are a lot of people that we don't know that make a lot of money that would do this and spend $500,000. I have this from newatlas.com. Is there an actual price? Oh, look at this. Both of you. Let's split it. $125,000.
I thought I saw something
All right,
around there.
Look, I owe Sean an apology. You were still over. So Price is Right rules. You don't get to take home the showcase.
So Sean gets to go. We get to watch him explode in a hot air balloon.
Not only does Sean get to do that, but he also gets your showcase as well. Remember, you went over.
Well, no, you don't get it because I go over. He has to be within $150 of it.
Is that it? I thought that you sacrifice your showcase if you go over.
No. Come on now, man. Everyone goes over.
Ah, okay.
I think you have to. I think the ruling is now you have to be within $250 of your own showcase, and then you get both. Yeah, $250, and you get both showcases.
They must have been handing out multiple showcases.
Side tangent. You want to see a really fun video? Watch the guy who gets the showcase to the penny.
Do you have that? Could you pull that audio?
Well, I'll pull the audio. I'll find it. But the expression on Drew Carey's face is even better.
Okay, let me ask you this.
We should come back to that.
All right, and here's my question. We'll come back to this, but here's the question. I don't want you to answer this yet, and everybody out there as well, at Shander Show, at Ron Culver, 2 N's, twitch.tv/Shander Show, 800-224-2004. What's more difficult? To nail the showcase within $50. I'll even give you some leeway here. $50 or that long-ass Wheel of Fortune puzzle that the person gets with just one letter. Think of that as we wrap the hour on the second level.
Pushing the Odds with Matt Perrault.
Tim Brando on Twitter to follow him, joining us on the Progressive guest line. People are saying without students on campus, you can't play college football.
We can thank Mark Emmert for opening his mouth and inserting foot. Mark Emmert has no jurisdiction really over college football, but there's a little thing called the 1984 Supreme Court lawsuit won by the universities of Georgia and Oklahoma that forced the NCAA out of the financial realm of college football. It's like the guy in the California system making this sweeping statement about nothing but online classes later in the year, and he's making the decision with data in May. These guys that just want to see their names in print making bold decisions that they don't have to make, they illustrate what happens with misuse of power. And the real leaders are doing the right things behind the scenes, and they'll make their splash when the time comes. And I'm telling you, I think that time will be sometime next month.
Pushing the Odds with Matt Perrault. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 4 Eastern on SB Nation Radio. The Jake Asman Show.
Tennis, you only make noise in between the actual game of tennis being played. I mean, everyone's dead silent, so you could hear these tennis players go, ugh, or if it's a woman, it's ah, and it's a real. I love a real grunter when they play tennis. Ugh, ugh, ugh. You know, there's gamblers out there that are starving for content. We might have some prop bets on some grunts.
The Jake Asman Show. weekday mornings from 9 to 11 Eastern. Into the Night.
Tim Kirchin on the line with us from ESPN. You've been around this a long time. Have you ever seen anything this crazy when it comes to two sides trying to get together to figure out how to restart their sport?
No, Tony, I haven't. I covered the 81 strike, and we didn't have, stories every 20 minutes seemingly, but that's what we have here, and this is why it's so much more difficult to make a deal, because everything that comes out becomes a gigantic thing. Just a small note becomes a big story, and that's just the nature of our business day. But you don't have to go that far back. When Michael Weiner ran the Players Association, he was so good at this that a CBA was negotiated, and no one really knew that they were really, really underway, and suddenly it was over. That's the way.
Do you know about the Price is Right story?
No.
Okay.
Into the Night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays. Weeknights at 10 Eastern. Game Time Decisions.
I'm Gabriel Morency, inviting you to join me and the Raging Redhead, Cam Stewart, weekdays at 6 Eastern on SB Nation Radio, the loudest station in the nation. No games, no problem. We've got your back. Weekdays at 6. We throw it down. Best bets, props. If they're playing, we'll find a number on it. Bring it. Weekdays at 6. SB Nation Radio, Game Time Decisions.
Game Time Decisions with Gabe Morency and Cam Stewart. Weekdays at 6 p.m. Eastern. Dealing with the root of the issues. It's the Second Level, presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
Now, do we have this, or should we set this up?
Well, yeah, we got to save it because the clip is a little bit longer than the time we have.
Okay,
left.
so let's look at this. What's more difficult? Now, is there a Jeopardy? Is there something that we can throw in that would make it a true trio? We have answering the long Wheel of Fortune puzzle after just one letter. Getting both showcases down to, I think, $50 is equal, right?
Or just getting one. You get one Showcase Showdown where they have like 5 prizes.
And nailing that within $50, right?
I mean, you might be able to do. I mean, to get that perfectly on that, because I have. You'll enjoy this clip,
right? That's down to the penny, but that's like an anomaly. I'm just saying, in general. Now, what would be the Jeopardy equivalent of that?
I guess running the table.
Yes. So running at least 3 categories in Double Jeopardy.
No, that's easy.
Running every category in Double Jeopardy.
Running every category
in Double Jeopardy. That's unheard of.
So is guessing a puzzle after one letter.
Pharrell.
The Cowboys want to make Dak the second highest paid.
Trying to think of other game show things out there.
Quarterbacks making somewhere between 25 and 30.
Not the newer game shows.
Money and
hard charts or something. I
The
don't know.
eventual demise. These contracts with quarterbacks, the demise of football teams. When you have to pay one guy that much money, it breaks up the team.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast.
What's a
with
good,
Scott
like
Farrell.
nailing the
Weekdays
Showcase
from 4
Showdown
p.m.
down
to
to
6
what?
p.m. Eastern.
$50, $10? What's a good?
The Jake Asman Show.
I just got in.
God, what the hell is going on with Zeke's head? Have you seen that?
Oh yeah, it's awful.
I want to just have something to do in the afternoons when I'm free after I do the show. So I'm like, I'll buy a bike. It'll be fun to ride around my neighborhood. There's some bike trails nearby. This will be great. My idea to get a bike started during the quarantine period when I wanted to get some exercise because all the gyms were closed. Here was the problem. Everyone had the same idea. There were no bikes left in the city of Houston. I kid you not. I was told by someone at a local sporting goods store that there was a national bike shortage. That just changed 2 minutes ago.
I'm trying to think.
I'm going to say 5 of 6 in Double Jeopardy.
Okay.
Now, what's another one?
Why you mean, or just 5? No, just say 5 of 6. 5 of 6 categories in Jeopardy.
Well, I'm going to make it double.
Why double?
Because it's harder.
The second round?
Yeah.
Think the second round's harder than the first round?
It's supposed to be, yes.
It's happening in the world of
That's why you have an
From
increased
reviews on the
dollar
latest
amount.
vehicle,
Okay.
keeping
Now,
your
what is there a
family safe
fourth
on the
one?
road.
Oh God.
If you love cars,
Let me see. Hold on.
and the amazing technology hitting your favorite showroom, check out the brand new automotivemap.com.
Wake up call. Elon Musk is a brilliant guy. We'd all agree, right?
Oh yeah.
Have we talked about what he named his kid?
No, I don't think we ever did.
How do you pronounce this? I mean,
I don't know. I can't wait till this kid's old enough and he goes, I'm changing my name to Michael. And they go, oh yeah, what was your name before? I'm Elon Musk's kid.
Yeah.
You tell me.
Do we have to call him the artist formerly known as Elon Musk?
Yeah,
maybe?
exactly. You might know my dad.
Is it
as this
maybe
super
millionaire?
brilliant
Run it in
scientist.
millionaire?
I know him as.
That's what Sean said, but that was done. The first millionaire guy didn't use the lifeline. Actually, he used his final lifeline to call his dad to tell him, "Hey,
To tell
I'm
him
about
I
to
won,
become a
right? Well,
millionaire."
well, yes, but other
Two, you
people
can
say with the
properly
guy in the
pronounce
penny,
this
right?
nonsense. I'm gonna.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, you could say that.
Okay.
I guess you can put that down.
I'm gonna go smoke and drink and drive a car at 10. Bye.
Wake Up Call with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings.
Listen to the car guru himself, Mike Herzing with Matt Peralt, every Saturday morning from 7 to 8 Eastern on Let's Talk Wheels.
How about this? Being an attractive woman in the 80s and being on a Richard Dawson Family Feud and not getting a kiss.
kissed? That's a great
.com.
honorable mention.
They have team-specific sites to fit your needs, whether it's basketball, baseball, NFL, or the school you graduated from. SB Nation has you covered.
Into the night.
Seriously now, are we done with this yet? Not yet. What do you mean, are we done? You called here. You want me to be like a regular talk show host and just hang up on you and run him? Should I run him, Eric? Or rack him? No, I'm not racking him. They're not racking him. Jim Rome only racks great calls. He has a take, but he sort of sucks at the same time. I think that's going to be my new thing. You know, you had a take or two, but for the most part, I got to run you.
Into the Night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays. Weeknights at 10 Eastern. Into the Night.
Ladies and gentlemen, the man, no matter what they're paying him at TNT,
It's not
it
enough.
ain't enough. The great Charles Barkley. Chuck, you said it earlier. Shaq said it. They shouldn't bother to even finish this season. Do you still believe it? I know you said that they are going to play. Do you still believe that it's not worth playing?
Listen, I'm 100% sure they're going to play, just from what I'm hearing from my people, but I just don't know how it's going to be safe. I really don't. I would hate for something bad to happen, and I would hate to see one of the stars get hurt and they lose in the first round or second round of the playoffs to an inferior team. Let me tell you something. You can have 100 players on a team in the NBA. If you lose Giannis, LeBron, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, it don't matter about those other 99. That's the thing that scares me. If Giannis gets sick and has to miss the first round of the playoffs, the Milwaukee Bucks are not going to win. They're out. That wouldn't be fair at all.
Into the Night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays. Weeknights at 10 Eastern. Pharrell,
Coast to coast. People used to say, oh, that Pharrell guy, he's on late at night. He doesn't matter. Well, how do you like them apples? Now I'm on 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern on SB Nation, and we're going to cut everybody down like trees everywhere. It doesn't matter if it's afternoons, nights, mornings, weekends. Pharrell Coast to Coast rules.
Pharrell Coast to Coast with Scott Pharrell. Weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. When you turn to Rocket Mortgage, we can help guide you to those right decisions now when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so now is a great time to call 8338-ROCKET. And if you need some extra money, a cash-out refinance could give you that financial boost you're looking for.
So
Call
this is
today
probably
at
going to take up this next
8338-ROCKET
segment, huh?
Or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn
Do
more.
we have time now in this short open to play that clip?
No.
Okay.
It's number 3030.
Set your system's volume control for slightly above the normal listening level.
Let's go. Second level thinking is defined as looking beyond the easy, obvious conclusions.
You got to do some smart thinking.
Welcome to the second level.
Chuck E. Cheese is out.
A Gal Media property in partnership with Jacob Media, where we go beyond the box score. Presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Rocket Mortgage is with you every step of the way. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's your host, Eitan Shander.
That's it. Say goodbye officially to Chuck E. Cheese. The chain will continue to reopen locations, but it's negotiating and filing bankruptcy right now. So we'll have to get used to a new name at some point. I know they tried that already on the delivery with DoorDash and the other ones, but it looks like this could be it. The final nail in the coffin for Chuck E. Cheese. Now, what's on the menu at Chuck E. Cheese outside of that awful pizza? Is there anything else that you can get there? I'm sure, chicken fingers, right? Fries. But the pizza itself was brutal. So I'm not surprised at all that maybe people realized, all right, well, now that I'm at home for the next 3 months, I don't have to subject myself to that awful pizza just to bring my kids out and they can go nuts and scream and go crazy. The best is the Simpsons, where they had the Wally. I think it's Wally the Weasel. It's what it was in the kid. They were all throwing stuff. That's all I think of now with Chuck E. Cheese. It's gone. The endless salad bar is done. It's over. You had the opportunity to even drink beer and wine at that place. Done. Over. Say goodbye to Chuck E. Cheese. Coming up, we'll let you hear that clip. We already put it out on Twitter, at Shander Show. Ron's been tagged in this as well. The more difficult task on a game show. The first, nailing the Showcase Showdown down to $50. And again, we'll let you hear that clip where the guy nailed it down to a penny. Number 2, answering that long Wheel of Fortune puzzle after just one letter. Number 3, clearing out 5 of 6 categories in Double Jeopardy. Or 4, this was a late edition thanks to Ron here. Or maybe it was me, I forget. Win Who Wants to Be a Millionaire without using a lifeline. I think Sean actually technically gave us that first. Those 4. At Weak Sauce Radio, Showcase Showdown is tough. They just make up the prices on those trips, I'm convinced. Yeah, I agree. That trip to Milan is very difficult to price.
At Fidelity, we understand priorities can change. So when you partner with a dedicated advisor from Fidelity Wealth Management, they will help you develop a personalized wealth strategy, one that can be flexible enough to evolve as your needs change. Plus, they can offer investing strategies designed to reduce the impact of taxes, all while making sure you understand what you're paying and why. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC.
Hi, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. We can help guide you to those right decisions now when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows. So when you call 8338-ROCKET or visit us at rocketmortgage.com to start your refinance, you'll be well on your way to saving money every month. The rate today on our 30-year fixed rate mortgage is 3.375%, APR 3.59%. Right now could be a great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you the boost that you're looking for.
Hey, Eitan.
Yeah.
Before we jump into this, can you give me a blue emu?
Yes.
At Rocket Mortgage, we're committed to every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.875% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
You're more focused than ever on keeping your employees and customers safe. Cintas has the products and services you need to feel prepared. Our Cintas technicians can apply our disinfectant and sanitizer spray throughout your facility. Our Ultra Clean service for restrooms uses a sanitizer effective against certain germs, bacteria, and viruses. And we'll help you stay well stocked with hand sanitizer, face masks, and essential PPE. Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Auto Accident Help Desk is a marketing agency connecting callers with attorneys. Providers pay a fee for advertising services.
I love getting my kids ready and driving them to school.
But a careless driver can change your life in an instant, and insurance companies want to settle on the cheap. Auto Accident Help Desk connects victims with powerful lawyers. They fight for you.
I called Auto Accident Help Desk and got help for my pain and suffering.
Don't let an insurance company take advantage of you. Our attorneys fight and beat big insurance every day.
Call 800-528-6859. 800-528-6859.
If you've been injured in an automobile accident in the last 6 months, you owe it to yourself to make this free call with no obligation. We're available 24/7 to help you get the money you deserve for your pain and suffering. Auto Accident Help Desk helps accident victims like you every day.
Call 800-528-6859. 800-528-6859. That's 800-528-6859.
You're listening to The Second Level, presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, with way more than the scores, here's Eitan Shander.
Okay, now do we have the ability, in a minute, actually, I'll tell you what, let's load that thing up. We'll let you hear where we're at with our answers to the 4 big examples of really feats and accomplishments in a game show. And maybe we left something. Maybe at that point. I don't know. I'm trying to think out loud if we have, but I don't think that there's anything more obvious than the 4 examples. I told you yesterday, I'll tell you again, because I've used it and it works. And it's not just because I'm being told to tell you. I have no problem explaining how it worked on me. I remember this was back when I was doing overnights here. So maybe a year and a half ago, maybe that long. I don't know. 2020 has warped my sense of time. But we had Blue Emu and I got a jar, used it, was amazed at how well it worked on sore muscles and joints on my body. Immediately went through that bottle, that jar, and went out and bought a new one. And I was working out extensively a couple of times a day at that time and really active. And it was awesome because I knew that no matter how much I worked or how hard or how much my muscles ached afterwards, I could throw some Blue Emu on and it would make it better nearly instantly. There's no chill, there's no burn, there's no odor. So think about that. It doesn't matter where or when you use it. You don't have to wait for that cooling or that burning sensation to kick in to know it's working. And not having an odor is pretty important if you're living in, actually with somebody, to where you don't have to walk around smelling like a medicine chest. And that was exactly the case. Fiance, girlfriend at the time could come over, not even smell it, which is nice, to where you don't have to explain every single time you see your significant other why you smell like medicine. It's made in America. It is the #1 selling emu oil brand in America. And unlike competitors, there's no capsaicin, which is the chili peppers that cause that burn, or menthol, which is the ingredient responsible for that cold sensation. You don't have either. It's just good old-fashioned emu oil. It works. I've used it firsthand, and I can tell you that if you go out and buy a jar and you have muscle joint aches, this is the product for you. Blue Emu is the product for you. Second Level, SB Nation Radio, at Shander Show, twitch.tv/Shander Show. To refresh, I don't even know how this thing came about, but such is life on this program. So if you're listening, then you're used to it. But the most difficult...
Is that an apology?
No, I think it's more... It's not an apology. What would you call it? It's not a warning. It's not an apology. It's almost like
a fact.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's kind of like a fact, or a tagline, or...
Stating the obvious.
Yes. So why am I blanking on the word? It's what you have in all these products that tell you not to eat something.
Warning?
It's more than a warning. There's a specific term for it. Where you have
recommendation?
Yeah, warranty, recommendation, something like that. Right. I can't think of the specific word for it. But yes, it's kind of in between a warning and a threat, right? It's kind of just get used to it. Things happen on this show and we go down roads that we don't prepare for. I can't even tell you how the analogy of the game show came up, but it got us thinking. And I saw your wild card, so we'll get to that as well. What's the most difficult task? Is it nailing the Showcase Showdown down to $50, answering that long Wheel of Fortune puzzle after just one letter, clearing out 5 of 6 categories in Double Jeopardy, win Who Wants to Be a Millionaire without using a lifeline? Yeah, now your wild card entry is awesome.
I think it's the most difficult of all of them.
I don't think we have any video that would be contrary to the obvious, which is it's impossible, right?
No, in fact,
I want you to read it so I don't get in trouble.
I was watching. I said the wild card entry is being a hot woman in the 80s and not getting a kiss from a Richard Dawson-led Family Feud. And I was watching an episode the other day. It was Steve Harvey hosting, and there was a woman there who was attracted to Richard Dawson or Steve Harvey. And she had mentioned something about, just like, I'm probably not going to get a kiss. And he was very quick to say, no. That's the other guy. But it is amazing when you watch these old movies or these old game show clips, Richard Dawson kissed everybody.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just a simple kiss on the cheek.
No, there was lip to lip.
Lip to lip.
You could not get away with that in COVID times.
Not even COVID. Forget COVID times. You can't get away with it now, regardless if there's a disease.
True. I'm trying to think if there was anybody that could truly get away with that. Nobody. You would have to bring in a Pierce Brosnan, right? Or Brad Pitt,
because you know what? It doesn't matter.
Idris Elba, right? Come on.
He had
COVID, so he's got antibodies.
All those good-looking guys doesn't matter because those guys would be sued so fast. Yeah, that's the culture that we live in.
Unless you had to sign a waiver that says if Idris Elba, the
wants
new
to
host,
plant one on you,
yes,
it's okay.
Right. Like if Idris Elba or Brad Pitt as the new game show host want to plant one on you, then just be okay with that.
That's fine.
Is that it? I mean,
yeah, I guess.
All right, now let's listen to this Price is Right.
All right, I'll set it up real quick.
Please.
So what it is, I can't remember. This was a couple years ago. All right, a gentleman got the exact answer. He got the perfect bid on the Price is Right Showcase Showdown, which included, I think, a truck, a trailer, a trip, just all these different things. And it's literally impossible to get a perfect bid. Now, the thing to listen to, if you have a chance, watch it. It's hysterical. But the thing to listen to is Drew Carey's reaction to someone getting a perfect bid. Okay? Because you would think you would think it would be a big deal.
Right. So is he stone-faced?
And the woman before him, she lands her bid and she's within $400,
which is pretty impressive.
So listen to the excitement between the two. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Sharon did all those trips around the world, 4 big trips plus a safari in Africa, $30,525. Actual retail price, $31,019. Difference of $494. Wow. Terry, yeah, the trailer, jukebox, bid $23,743. Actual retail price, $23,743. You got it right on the nose. Showcase.
What's his problem?
Hasn't happened since 72 or 73. Right on the nose.
You know, he sounds like one of these announcers in the 50s doing radio baseball.
There's a whole documentary on this. Okay, what part of the problem is that once he gave the bid, Drew knows the bid prices before, or the judges know the bid prices beforehand. So the backstory is that once this guy said the bid, one of the judges lost his mind and was like, "Oh my God, he got it perfectly." They had just fired a guy like a week or a month before that.
Wait, who fired?
Price is Right had fired a guy before that.
Why?
I can't remember the reason behind his firing. I think he was just lazy at what he was doing or something like that. But he was a disgruntled employee or became a disgruntled employee after being fired. He had taken all the pricing books with him. So they thought that maybe this guy had conspired with this other guy and gave him all the pricing numbers. And all he had to do was, once he saw the prices coming up, he had just had to do math in his head and got the right answer. So Drew Carey played it off like he was afraid to show any excitement because he thought for certain that this was all fake.
My goodness, I had no idea we would be going down these
There's
depths.
a whole thing to it. It is incredible.
So I'm still trying to figure out where the ruse could have been. The old judge could have told the contestant.
Yeah, it wasn't an old judge. It was a guy who was in charge of coming up with the pricing, I believe.
Okay, so what? And it was just because you had somebody hit it to that level that the initial response was, well, this person had to be cheating, and therefore the only person who could really cheat is the guy that we fired. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay.
So there is a whole, there's a whole lawsuit, a whole investigation with it. It's an interesting documentary.
Man, I didn't realize that this was such a deep
No,
conspiracy.
that's why it's funny because you see it. Because you would think,
sounds terrible. That's what I thought. Are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
I was just going to say that's all it was.
Yeah.
That Drew sounds terrible.
No, he does. He sounds terrible, but he was so afraid to give an honest reaction.
So
he's a little bit more excited with the woman's bid, and not as much as the guy who landed it perfectly on the nose, but he's still downplaying both bids and just like, oh, this is it, because if you watch him any other time, he's really excited if they get close.
Yes, and I get that he had that in the back of his mind. Okay, so I think that Kevin Cook on Twitch, Kevin Cookie 32, is this fake news? No, that's actually the next segment. But I am curious. I think personally, I would still rather err on the side of going crazy. And then what's the damage if you go crazy and you celebrate it like it was a real thing, and then it turns out that it was fake? You come out and you say, I didn't know. How the hell was I supposed to know? This guy cheated. It's a quiz show, John Turturro.
Well, you saw that everyone had something involved in the movie quiz show. Like everybody, because it's based on a true story that the host had something to do with it, the contestant had something to do with it, the producers, everybody had a hand in what was going on.
Right. In this case, it would be a rogue employee.
Yeah. And Drew Carey was making sure, like, hey, I know nothing about this, and just did it as stone face as possible. It's interesting. It's an interesting little sidebar to Price is Right.
Yeah, that is crazy. I didn't realize that it was that level of
And then, yes,
issue.
it's not fake news. I'm sorry.
No. Now, Millionaire Tweetbot has responded, hashtag who wants to be a millionaire. I don't know if we can add that to the list. This is a bot automatically replying to who wants to be a millionaire related tweets, adding the official hashtag.
Okay.
So I don't think we can add that to the tally of votes, right?
I don't think we can either.
No, I don't think so at all. A quick update on where we stand here on the Travelers Championship. Rory is now done and finished 7 under, which is tied for a share of the lead with Mackenzie Hughes, who is through 14. So Hughes still has an opportunity to extend the lead. But here comes Phil Mickelson and Sergio. To be fair, I don't want to knock Sergio off this by any means. We saw how consistent he was last tournament, so picking right up from there. Phil Mickelson, on the other hand, not so consistent, but today with a 6 under, good enough for one off to share the lead right now. Again, he's through in the clubhouse. Early golfers are done. Garcia is through 15. So he still has a couple of holes to even get up or extend it. Here's Bryson in the clubhouse at 5 under. And we talked about the envy that I'm sure is around the tournament, watching what he's been able to do with his body and not impact his game negatively at all. Rahm in the clubhouse at 4 under. So a name to keep an eye on. And Abraham Answer, who actually had some pretty favorable odds for him to do something this week, is through and is 3 under for the day. So a couple of big names, even a couple of names that we're familiar with through the last 2 weeks, hovering around 7 under right now, the score to beat, but that could change. We'll hit fake news next.
The second level. The second level.
I'm trying to be more conscious about what I'm eating, what I'm drinking, and cutting back beer. And so I tried something 2 weeks ago, and ever since, it's all I drink. Do you want to guess what it is first before I explain it to you? Because it's something that if I'm admitting, it's going to be something where people are either going to make fun of me or judge me for it.
White Claw.
Absolutely right. A lemon lime. I pound those things. Think about it. You're out in the hot sun. You're walking 18 and you're drinking cold carbonated seltzer. I have to now be secretive in the drink that I'm ordering because I don't want to be publicly shamed at the golf course for just walking around with 6 or 7 White Claws. Now, does that make me immediately one of these crazy girls that you see on video in the Hamptons? Oh my God, my White Claw. Are you judging me right now?
The second level. Weekdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern.
Wake up call! I remember as a little kid wanting to be an archaeologist because of Indiana Jones. I didn't realize it was boring. But
this is what you thought an archaeologist did.
I thought that's what they did. You had whips and they'd go around to ancient lands and find treasure. I didn't know they spend most of their time with a paintbrush dusting off little ounces of sand.
Or in a classroom teaching hungover college students.
That's right, exactly.
Wake Up Call with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings. Into the night.
Here with Phil Simms into the night. All right, Phil, where's the 30 for 30 on Phil Simms and Bill Parcells?
The whole Parcells era with the Giants.
Exactly.
Fascinating.
How can that not be a 30?
Do you see the picture of the noose?
No. Where is this?
If you go to Bob Pockrass has it.
What is it, Bob?
Bob Pockrass, the NASCAR.
How do you spell it?
Bob, then Pockrass.
Got it.
To see if my first name began with a P or an F, because for 8 years I was F and Sims. F and Sims.
It's the photo of the garage pole.
Yeah, I see it.
So I think people just in Talladega they need a new hobby, man.
Just like FS, like Lawrence Taylor does LT.
Yeah, because that's a noose.
Yep.
Say that.
Into the night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays. Weeknights at 10 Eastern. Game time decisions.
What's up, everybody? I am Gabriel Morency, inviting you to join me and the Raging Redhead, Cam Stewart, weekdays at 6 Eastern on SB Nation Radio. No games, no problem. The countdown is on. Sports will be back. There are games being played right now in China. We've got German soccer. If there's a line for it, we're going to break it down right here. Weekdays, 6 o'clock, SB Nation Radio. Be here.
Game time decisions with Gabe Morency and Cam Stewart. Weekdays at 6 p.m. Eastern.
So, can I ask you a question?
Fake news with Ron. With all the fake news out there,
Don't believe those lies.
it's on Shander to give it to you straight. 3 stories, but only one is fake.
It's true. I know it's a weird thought, but it's true.
Can Shander spot the fraud? Here's Ron Culver.
All right, Eitan. I decided to theme it today to give you a fair shot against Sir McMullen.
Sounds good. I appreciate that.
Just trying to do our bit. So basically, I have 3 movies that are coming to theaters near you.
Really?
Or do I?
Let me ask you a second. Do you have a pet? Do you have a dog?
Yeah, I got a dog.
Are the dog groomers open? I know Houston is going through it right now, so
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't take my dog to the groomers.
Just checking.
Yeah, I know they were a few months ago or a few weeks ago.
Weeks ago.
I think we're going back down into.
I think you are going back
closing,
to bunker.
hiding.
Yes, you are. Mackenzie Hughes, 8 under, by the way.
Maybe my last show.
No, don't say
Just
that.
letting you know. Yeah.
Well, Sean's doing a really good job. So
Sean
if he
is
wants to
doing a good
risk
job.
it,
I just might have him take over for me for a while.
just warn him
While
that he
I
has
go
to
into
deal with
hiding.
McMullen twice a week. Just give him a heads up.
He has no idea who that is.
Well,
he'll find out soon
You
enough.
will. All right. You may, as my old boss, Chris Russo, used to say, you may continue.
I have 3 movies.
Yes.
That are going to be made.
One of these is fake.
Possibly.
Well, I would think that in order for this to be real, something has to be fake.
Yeah, well, I mean, there are 3 movie stories, maybe not movies that are being made. We'll
right,
see.
but this is like
We'll
the
see.
Father's Day gifts, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, something is off on it.
All right, number 1, Michael Keaton has been rumored to reprise his role as Batman in an upcoming Flash movie.
No. Flash Gordon? Flash?
Not Flash Gordon.
No, isn't that Flash? Isn't that
No,
the same
the
Flash?
The Flash.
Yes, isn't that the same Flash?
No, Flash Gordon was somebody different.
I thought the Flash is also Flash Gordon.
No.
The whole time I've been thinking this wrong?
You've been thinking this wrong. Flash Gordon wasn't superhuman fast.
Who was he?
Gordon. Flash Gordon was just a man who traveled, what's the best way to describe him? He fought aliens. He defended Earth versus rogue alien. He has nothing to do with DC Comics.
Okay, I'm looking at this now. What is the difference between Flash and Flash Gordon? Unbelievable.
Flash Gordon has a good head
sci-fi
of lettuce.
space traveler from a series of comic strips from the 30s.
Yes.
All right. Well, I mistook both of this then. I
And Flash was the fast guy who can run around the world in the blink
Yeah,
of
in
an
the
eye.
red.
Yeah.
All right. So Keaton is going to reprise his Batman role in a new Flash, not Flash Gordon, but Flash movie.
Correct.
All right. Now, Keaton has been busy making bad stuff recently, so this would be a nice break from it.
Could be, right?
Do we know who's playing the Flash?
I'm thinking it's the guy who's been playing Flash in the last two movies.
Okay.
In the last movie, the Justice League.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, story number 2. Hollywood is on board with rebooting the ultimate tornado movie, Twister.
No.
Yes.
Why are we doing this?
Because apparently Hollywood has ran out of all the ideas.
No.
They're
Hollywood
thinking
has already run out of ideas. I just don't know why we continue. Here's the thing. You know, we're tearing stuff down, we're removing things, we're replacing things left and right. Why is there still this need to redo things as well? Don't you think those are two competing things happening in our society? On
Yes.
one hand, we're trying to remove ourselves from all the bad stuff that happened in our past, yet we're redoing movies like Point Break and Twister.
Yep.
I hope to goodness this is not true, but I need to hear the third one to kind of.
Story number 3. Tropic Thunder will soon be removed from all viewing platforms due to racial insensitivity.
Man, if this is happening for real, then I might take that balloon ride, but just not come back.
And just go somewhere else and take these movies with you?
No, just take Tropic Thunder with me, and to spite the rest of the planet, edit everything out but Robert Downey Jr.'s moments. Do people not this happens every 2 years, right? Where
it does.
It comes up and people find Robert Downey Jr. in blackface in Tropic Thunder, and they try to cancel him. They try to cancel the movie. They try to cancel Ben Stiller. But they clearly haven't seen it, or if they saw it, they didn't get it, which is it's a complete satire on that. I mean, think about it. If this is true, then we have removed, first off, we've crossed an awful threshold into now censoring fiction. But on top of that, we've proven as a society that we're too stupid to understand satire. Is that a fair assessment? If this is
I
in
think
fact
that's
true?
very fair. I think it's a very fair assessment.
I
mean, because he makes fun of himself for being that way. And there's even a scene where he's like, what do you mean, you guys? And then there's an African-American actor behind him goes, what do you mean, you guys?
Yes.
So they're having fun with it.
I mean, that's
but because he's in blackface, they want to cancel the movie.
I'm going to say story 3. Now, John McMullen is going to come on. I've also alerted John to our Twitter poll about the game show. So we
Okay, so
yes.
you should have insight.
You know, to be fair,
I know. See, I made this fake news today because I wanted to give you a fighting chance because I know he's not a big movie watcher.
Right.
So you could have a fighting chance here today.
Well, I'm going to say...
But I imagine John being a game show watcher.
Yes, I can imagine that myself. You know, what we really need from McMullen, first and foremost, is for him to have his box so he can be on for this segment, and then we can get into the NFL after. But in the meantime, we need him to listen to this segment so he can come on fresh and not have to recap stuff, and he can just say, bam, this is my answer. I'm going to say story 3, only because, well, actually now I'm torn between 1 and 3. What was one more time? That was the movie about
Michael Keaton
and Batman. Yeah,
is going to be reprising his role in a Flash movie.
I'm going to say 3. Yeah, that's my ultimate response. I'm going to say
that's the fake one. Tropic Thunder is going to be canceled.
Yes, I can imagine that people are trying to cancel Robert Downey Jr., but the movie, no. We'll see what McMullen has to say about that, the NFL canceling the Hall of Fame game, and the most difficult game show accomplishment next.
Jay Farner here.
So you want to say for like next Tuesday, should I get John on the phone for fake news?
Well, no. What I'd like to do is have him.
Mortgage rates are near
He doesn't have
historic lows,
his own
so
box
now
yet.
is a great time to call.
He's going to get a Comrex.
Rocket.
So
And
ideally, what I'd like to have is him join us
financial boost
from like 12:25 to 12:50, right?
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is, I mean, until that happens, I can give him a call during the break right before fake news.
Do you think that would sound good with him on the phone, though, for that long, for 2 segments?
When it comes to cleanliness.
It's going to sound the same regardless.
Well, if he's on a Comrex, it'll sound like he's co-hosting kind
Right. No, I get that part.
of. If you don't think that it would sound too much with him on the phone for 2 segments.
Oh, we've done it in the past.
Okay.
Professional cleaning supplies and
That was my only concern.
Just a few ways Cintas can help you keep your business safe. Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
The 4th is your time to show off your skills. Burgers? Check. Hot dogs? Check. Refrigerator? Well, before yours decides to check out and ruin your backyard barbecue, upgrade to a new one. Lowe's has you covered with appliances up to 40% off, like an LG InstaView side-by-side refrigerator for $12.99. With a generous amount of space, you'll have even more room to store your family's favorites and everything on your barbecue menu, too. This year, we're home for the 4th. Visit Lowe's and make it the best it can be. Valid through 7/8 U.S. only.
At CDW, we get that working remotely can make people feel disconnected.
I went from catching up with coworkers around a water cooler to hanging out around my cat's water bowl.
Fortunately, CDW can help your employees stay connected by implementing a secure by design Google Chrome Enterprise solution that protects every Chromebook.
Gotta run. The boss is calling.
Mr. Whiskers sounds very demanding. IT orchestration by CDW. People who get it. Find out more at cdw.com/Google.
Oh, you don't have anything today?
This is an urgent health notice for all residents suffering from back, neck, knee, and wrist pain. You may qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you, but the deadline is fast approaching. Simply call the Health Alert Hotline now.
You heard right. You may qualify for a pain-relieving back, neck, knee, or wrist brace. These items may even be covered by Medicare or your private insurance. The Health Alert Hotline is your brace company. These specialized braces have been tested for pain relief. Call us toll-free right now to determine your eligibility and to learn how to use your private insurance or Medicare to minimize your out-of-pocket cost. Don't wait. If the deadline passes, you may lose your opportunity to get a pain-relieving back, neck, knee, or wrist brace at little or no cost to you.
800-608-1881. 800-608-1881. 800-608-1881. That's 800-608-1881.
I'm going to call you back, okay?
You're listening to The Second Level, presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Are you good? You still talking to the vet?
I'm good.
Here's Eitan Shander.
Well, we've got John McMullen joining us at JF McMullen, our NFL insider, courtesy of Jacob Media, each and every Tuesday and Thursday. And while there is at least one important piece of discussion that we should bring up with John, and we will before he gets out of here, we have to hit him with fake news first and foremost, and also our Twitter poll, because it was far too interesting for us to let it slide without getting any type of answer from John McMullen. So, John, as always, appreciate you, appreciate the time. Ron's going to recap a little bit different of a theme today, but Ron will recap the 3. I locked in the number 3, and it's your choice now, whatever one you want.
All right, so John, today it's a movie themed, and I know you're a big movie watcher. We discussed that on Tuesday.
Yeah, this should help. Now there's a lot of pressure.
To be honest with you, I was just trying to throw Eitan a bone here. Story number one: Michael Keaton is going to be reprising his role as Batman in an upcoming Flash movie, the Flash movie, not Flash Gordon.
I thought it was Flash
painfully
Gordon.
Explain to Eitan.
Yes, I thought the two are the same for 40 years.
Well, I did hear that Michael Keaton was potentially going to reprise that role. So if Ron is doing something untoward, he could be changing up the back end.
No. I had said rumored to be reprising his role. So you're on par
so
with
the
that.
movie itself doesn't count. All right. So
it'll be reprising his role as Batman, but it's in an upcoming The Flash movie.
Okay.
All right.
I'm pretty confident in that one.
Okay, number two, Hollywood is on board with rebooting the Ultimate Tornado movie, Twister.
That was a terrible movie, but I always watch 5 or 10 minutes of it. So
that's not terrible.
Yeah, I disagree. I don't necessarily think that's a terrible movie.
It's a great movie, John.
It's terrible. It's terrible. I enjoy it though, but it's a guilty pleasure. But I'm not putting it up for awards.
Well, I don't think it deserved any awards, maybe except for special effects. But come on, the characters in there are iconic.
The beauty of Twister, I love, is that they're obviously storm chasers for people that saw it, and you have the overt. I think Carrie Eulis is the bad storm chaser who's stealing the plans from Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton, and they have the black SUVs because they're the bad people.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. And finally, number three, Tropic Thunder will soon be removed from all viewing platforms due to racial insensitivity.
Oh, I hope not. That is a tremendous, tremendous movie, but I could certainly believe it. Obviously, Robert Downey in blackface. I'm surprised it hasn't been removed already. So I'm going to believe that's true. So by process of elimination, I'm going to say Twister is not coming back.
Ooh, okay.
All right.
We have a little bit of a disagreement here.
And Eitan, you said three?
I did.
So, first of all, Michael Keaton is rumored to reprise his role.
Of course he
as
is.
Batman.
He's not doing anything else.
In a movie starring The Flash. Basically, The Flash is going to go back in time and go to an alternate reality where Michael Keaton would be playing Thomas Wayne, not Bruce Wayne, Thomas Wayne.
Is that his dad?
Yeah.
I'm already out.
Thomas Wayne had to witness his son being murdered, but he's going to be Batman, but it's Thomas Wayne.
I'm out.
You're not out. That would interest you.
Michael Keaton
he would still be Batman, still be the 89 Batman, just an older version.
Nah, he's disappointed me too much.
Well, he's got to be an older version. I mean, to be fair, he almost has to be an older version. I think there's nothing you can do about it unless you're doing CGI stuff.
And so now we're down to number 2 or number 3, and the winner this week will be, or today, not this week, today is Eitan.
Oh.
There is no plan yet.
I was due to get one.
Yeah, I'm going to say yet because, I'm hoping I didn't put this idea into someone's head that they should cancel Tropic Thunder because it's just a satire movie. The whole thing is satire. Enjoy it for what it is. It's funny. But no, there are plans for it to be canceled yet.
I am shocked that no one has brought it up yet, now that you brought it up, Ron. So I do think, you probably have spawned this. Now
I hope not. I was a little nervous. And they are thinking about rebooting Twister. They already have a director. It's the director of the Top Gun, the new Top Gun movie that's coming out.
This is where we are.
And the producer will be Gary Marshall. They just have to find a guy who wants to write it. So hopefully they don't.
Some idiot who's going to jump into this thinking it's their opportunity to be put on the big stage is going to say, I'll write it.
Yeah, and say,
I thought Ron did a good job today. All three were very
I agree.
plausible.
Thank you.
So John, we do have the game show question to throw at you, but let's sandwich that with what's happening in the NFL. First and foremost, your reaction to the league canceling the Hall of Fame game and postponing the Hall of Fame inductions.
Yeah, no surprise the game's not going to happen. I mean, around the league, it's sort of a open secret, for lack of a better term, that they're going to cut back to 2 preseason games. And the thought process for the 2 preseason games has more to do with everybody needs a dry run with a home game and a road game to figure out how this whole thing is going to work as far as all the protocols and everything for being a home team versus a road team. And that's the only reason they're going to have preseason games at all. So there was never any chance they were going to play the game. I think the bigger part is that there's not going to be a ceremony as well. And, you know, you push that back. And obviously this was a big year, an expanded class. It's disappointing, I'm sure, for the people who are going to be inducted. Jimmy Johnson tweeting about that. It's not much you can do, though, other than just do it in a virtual fashion. So I'm not sure the people that are being inducted wouldn't want to wait. So it's kind of a personal thing, I would imagine.
But the big takeaway outside of it not happening is that you don't anticipate them to come back following this year, meaning this is now going to set precedent, 2 preseason games?
No, not necessarily. And certainly the Hall of Fame game is going to be back. I mean, ultimately they want to scale back on the preseason, and that's going to happen when they expand the schedule, if that comes into fruition in 2022. Just from COVID-19 this year, the thought process is you don't want to push it, number one, and you do need that dry run because you're going to have all these strange protocols to see how teams are going to be able to handle it from both a home and road perspective. So that's why they kind of want to get those 2 games in. I personally don't think they should force any preseason games, but I thought that from a while, even pre-COVID-19. I've always pointed to the fact that college teams don't play preseason games, and they do just fine. They show up week 1, and they play football. So I think preseason as a whole should go away, but this plan has more to do with COVID-19.
Fair enough, but I feel like there are always some things that might pop that you can't prepare for that happen, and as a result, and you mentioned as far as stretching the schedule, where else are we right now in the NFL? Malcolm Jenkins came out and said he doesn't think football is essential, and a lot of people said, well, I'll believe that when everybody else on your team is playing and you're not playing. It seems like, much like we get from anybody talking about this virus, qualifiers are out there, but nothing is ever definitive.
No, and that's kind of the thing. And, you know, Malcolm, I think, is very thoughtful, and that's why I said I think he's going to do a great job overall with his new CNN gig. But, yeah, what he said today and the fact that football is non-essential, can anybody really argue with that? I mean, it's not essential. I don't. Anybody trying to say that is barking up the wrong tree. And I point back to Andrew Brandt and what I wrote about PhillyVoice.com. Look, if we're being honest, if it were just about health specifically and only, we wouldn't play any professional sports until this thing was completely cleared up. But it's not. So, I mean, it depends where you're coming from this, and I think that's the bigger problem. It's perfection versus pragmatism. You're not getting perfection. So until you stipulate that point, you're not going to move forward. So, I mean, people have to get off that perfection thought. They really do. Because there's no guarantee. In fact, and you know this, Eitan, because you do a lot with doctors and you do the YouTube show. There's not going to be a vaccine for July 28th.
Right.
There's not going to be a vaccine by, say, the Super Bowl. And there might not be a vaccine by September of 2021. So at what point are you going to wait if you're a 33-year-old player like Malcolm Jenkins, to use him specifically? Are you willing to wait 2-3 years and give up the latter end of your career? And even if you are, because Malcolm's made a lot of money, do you think every other NFL player is going to agree with you? Of course not. And that's what I'm talking about. You're never getting perfect. Difficult problems are difficult for a reason. There's no yes or no. There's no up or down. It's nuance. And as soon as you get to that point, you can go about getting things as safely as possible to move forward.
John, I wanted to end football-wise with this, and we'll get your thoughts on the game show. But today is the anniversary of Jerome Brown's death, and I purposely did not bring it up until you came on, because you living, working, knowing this area as well and as long as you have, and me being an Eagles fan for all my life, and knowing that if you were 13 to 40 at that time, it's one of the big, outside of the Super Bowl, it's one of the biggest moments in Eagles history for fans. And I think that would probably be the best way to encapsulate it, but you can speak further to it.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you have a player of that caliber, and actually it happened really, if you think about it, happened twice in Philadelphia. It happened in hockey as well with Kelly Lindbergh.
That's right.
Who died tragically. He was one of the best goaltenders at the time. So any of that time, you know, I mean, it was a phenomenal player. And you think about that Eagles defense, that Eagles defensive line, and what it could have been moving forward, as good as it already was, as good as it continued to be. Yeah, I mean, that was a great, great player, taken far too early. And I think that always resonates when it happens. And that's in any city, anywhere. And sort of the legend, if anything, it grows even more. And you never get to see. I mean, we all talk about some of the great athletes, whether in some of the great NFL players, whether it's Joe Namath limping off the field as a Los Angeles Ram, Emmitt Smith as an Arizona Cardinal, time and time again. Even Brett Favre limping off as a Minnesota Viking, finally missing a game. You never get to see that with players who are taken far too early. And that's why I think the legend grows.
All right, John, we've got about 60 seconds here. What's most difficult? Nailing the Showcase Showdown down to $50, answering that long Wheel of Fortune puzzle after just one letter, clearing out 5 of 6 categories in Double Jeopardy, or winning Who Wants to Be a Millionaire without using a single lifeline?
Boy, that's a tough one. I think if you're not intelligent, Jeopardy's always the answer. For intelligent people, it might be a little bit different. But yeah, I mean, Jeopardy's difficult, so I'm always going to default to Jeopardy.
Man, well, what about millionaire? It's not like those questions are easy.
No, they're not. But
you get to a $750,000 millionaire question. That's tougher than any Final Jeopardy.
That's true. The consistency, you can argue both ways. But
Okay.
I always, like I said, I always default to Jeopardy because over the long haul, that's the most difficult from a consistency standpoint.
Oh, fair enough, John. Have a great weekend. We'll chat Tuesday.
All right, thanks, guys.
That's John McMullen on the Progressive Guest Line. We'll wrap the hour with one for the road next.
Wake up call.
Is it still the Progressive
Carolina
Guest Line?
Panthers
Right?
held a poll on Twitter. Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
To the GOAT of the franchise has been.
And they
you
said,
ready for the choices?
Yeah.
Julius Peppers.
Julius Peppers.
Steve Smith.
Steve Smith.
Luke Kuechly.
Luke Kuechly.
That's it. I'm done.
That's it? Really?
Are you noticing a glaring omission?
I know, right? Really?
Well, I think the only MVP they've ever had.
I know. A guy who's still looking for a job.
Number 1 overall pick who actually lived up to the hype.
He was the franchise face. Cam Newton had it was 15-1. MVP led them to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, not good enough to make their GOAT list. You know, I'm not going to take anything away from Julius Peppers, Steve Smith, Luke Kuechly. All fine players.
He's at least put Cam Newton in a poll of the greatest players of the franchise history. Come on, Carolina. Stop it.
Wake Up Call with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings. The Jake Asman Show.
Former MLB All-Star, a two-time World Series champion, and a dad of 8, the great Johnny Damon joining us now. You were in the movie Fever Pitch, but there's a very funny line in the movie where a fan yells out that Johnny Damon has the nicest rear end in the league.
People still ask me about my rear end, and it's still pretty good, guys. Just ask my wife. I mean, we have 8 kids.
The Jake Asman Show. Weekday mornings from 9 to 11 Eastern. The Jake Asman Show.
I woke up optimistic. I woke up excited. I was going to make bacon for the first time in my life. Recently, during my furlough, I learned how to scramble eggs. Now, you might laugh at me. Just learned how to scramble eggs? Yes, I was a late bloomer on the eggs. But I know how to do it at an elite level now. So every morning as I get up and prep for this show, I make some scrambled eggs. Well, I was going to make bacon. The eggs were great. Eggs were done. I put the bacon on the pan. I'm like, yeah, I got some time. I'll play around. I'll make some bacon. Then I said to myself, you know what? Let me go and get dressed for work. I'll eat the bacon, then I'll go. I had totally forgotten that I left the bacon on the frying pan. I come back, and I go, oh, my God. My apartment smells like it's on fire. Not only was this bacon burnt, it was not edible. It was absolutely decimated. And I dropped the ball. I failed.
The Jake Asman Show. Weekday mornings from 9 to 11 Eastern.
Hey, everybody. RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com, your home for the best Dallas Cowboys coverage on the web. And did you know that we have a podcast feed? The Blog of the Boys podcast feed has daily episodes breaking down the latest and greatest in the world of America's team. We have multiple shows, multiple analysts, including a Super Bowl winner. 2-time Super Bowl champion Tony Casillas is part of our rotation, and we want to make sure you are as well. We're available on Apple, Spotify, and wherever else you get your podcasts. So don't miss out. Subscribe to the Blog of the Boys podcast feed today.
Scratching beneath the surface. It's the second level, presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
All right, tomorrow we'll chat a lot about, we're going to give it time. I purposely wanted to give this story time because every single reaction from this story has yet to allot any time. So we'll talk about the picture that's come out in the investigation where the FBI and NASCAR both concluded that a rope clearly tied as a noose wasn't a noose. And now there's new information about it being tied as a noose, fashioned as a noose over the weekend, not back in 2019. Now, assuming that your one for the road is something other than that, do you have one?
Yes.
Okay, great.
That the Eiffel Tower is finally open again.
Was it closed?
Yeah, it was closed for the last 3 months because of COVID. So they're opening it today. However, the elevators are closed, so the only way to get to the top is by walking.
How many steps?
It's about 80 stories. You going?
I'd rather scrounge up 125 large to go on that balloon. I'm not going to make it
80 stories.
I'm not going to. Are you going to make it 80 stories?
No, I'm not. I'm not even going to attempt it.
You should get $125,000 if you can make it to 80
you
stories.
Reach to the top. Yep.
Yes, that should be a new game show. Oh, man. Are you guys going to get anybody on about this?
No, I don't know.
If you do, maybe I'll grab a cut or two. For you guys.
No, I doubt we'll get anybody on because we talked about it last week.